What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video we are looking at the Saturday NBA slate. We have a nice 6-game slate today starting at 7 o'clock, so let's get into it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Kind of our winning streak came to an end yesterday. Took the loss on both sides. Hopefully we can get right back on track tonight on this nice slate. So let's get into it. If you want to follow me on Twitter for updates after the DFS process, you can check out the prize picks. I'll post my link in the description. You can check out the website if you want to join us. I'll post my prize picks props on Twitter later today. They haven't posted the fantasy points yet, and that's kind of what I like to do. So on this slate, you got to first talk about the Washington Wizards because Bradley Beal is out tonight for personal reasons. That makes the whole team look so much better. They're already at great price tags. They're already a little bit shorthanded because of Rui is still not back yet, and then Davis Bertans is out for a while. So I could see a very tight rotation here of like Montrez. Gafford would be 2, Kyle Kuzma 3, Avdija 4, KCP would be the 5th guy. They have Aaron Holiday would be 6th, and Spencer Dinwiddie 7, Neto 8. So I could see a nice 8-man rotation for the Wizards today. They're all at great price tags. 3 of the 8 are below like $3,300. So the Wizards have to be the first team to talk about. The Sixers, they're still without Ben Simmons. They're still without Thibault. They're still without Embiid. Drummond is up to 9K. Finally had a bad game in place of Embiid. 2 of 8 from the floor. Only got 30 minutes. Maybe bounces right back today. You also have Sabonis on the other side, who looks pretty appealing. LeVert is questionable, and Tobias is 89. He's kind of expensive, but they didn't even hold him back in the first game. In his return, he played 37 minutes, so they threw him right back out there. So those would be the first, especially the Wizards. They have a ton of people that I want to go to. Or Magic have some guys that we can run it back with if we're stacking up the Wizards. This Philly Indiana game looks pretty appealing. And then we'll take a wait-and-see approach. Thought Brandon Ingram would finally be back yesterday, but he was out once again, even though he practiced fully. Maybe they knew he wanted to play on one leg of this back-to-back. They probably wouldn't put him on both ends of a back-to-back in his long absence, but so that might be the reason why he was held out yesterday. If he's held out again today, then I just have no idea when he's going to return. But I feel like he will probably return today against the Grizzlies, and that would make Josh Hart look less appealing, make Graham and Alexander Walker look less appealing, definitely hurt Temple, and then it also hurt Valanciunas for a little bit. The Pistons, they barely put up like 70-something points yesterday. Cade Cunningham is 56. He's like the only piece that looks somewhat interesting. Stewart was somewhat popular, then he got 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes, but just not really a team I want to target too much, and not really a game I'm going to go crazy with. On the Toronto side, could maybe look to like Chris Boucher if Khem Birch is out again. I think he will be. He's questionable. I thought they said he was going to miss some more time, but if Khem Birch is out, then Boucher will get a lot of the backup center minutes, and they got Pascal's back today, so that kind of secures some of the front court a little bit. The Boston Celtics almost blew that game last night to the Bucks. They're still without Jaylen Brown on this back-to-back. They did go into overtime. A lot of these guys played big minutes. Schroeder played 41. He had a career game with 53 fantasy points. Tatum had a decent game as well. So Tatum, Schroeder are like the two people I would kind of consider. Nobody else really looks that crazy appealing. I think there's better value plays on the Wizards. But what's going to go to anybody in the 3K range from the Celtics? Then last but not least, the Timberwolves, also on a back-to-back here. Some of these price tags do look pretty appealing, like you can always go Cat on Ace, shorts on a shorter slate, 6 games. Beverly's been pretty productive since he's been starting. He's been getting decent minutes, and he's been pretty much a point-per-minute guy since he's been the starting point guard. Russell still gives you upside at 7K, and then Edwards, 84 is a decent price tag, but he still gives you a lot of GPP upside on a short slate. Not somebody that I would look to in like cash games. And then on the Clippers side, it's basically like always looking to Paul George at 10-6. Nick Batum's been very productive. They're still without Morris, and Ibaka's in the G League. And then maybe you can look to Zubac at 5K going up against Cat. He's been pretty productive recently. They've been giving him more minutes. So I know reason why he can't do some damage against Cat, who you'll definitely assume that Zubac will be out there. Just a guy that has some size to match up to Cat. So going to some of the core plays here at point guard, Moran is $10,200. Looks like more of a tournament option. He's been pretty good this year. The last couple of games, he's gotten you close to 6 sacks at these high price tags, but it's still a very tough price at 10-2. I think even in a blowout against the Suns, He still put up 53, so he's been pretty solid. It is a back-to-back that might hurt a little bit. Brogdon, 86. He looks good if there's no LeVert. If LeVert plays, you probably can pass on this price tag, even though Brogdon's been pretty good. When he's out there on the court, he's missed some time this year with a hamstring and with an illness. Kind of like Cole Anthony at $7,700. I feel like he might get a little bit overlooked. He has shown a big-time GPP upside this year, 51, 60. Even his bad games are typically like in the 30s or like at least in the mid-20s. Mid-20s would definitely kill you at this sort of price tag, but it's against Washington. It's a good spot. They're without Bradley Beal, so it should be a lot closer of a game. At home here, I think I can roll the dice with Cole Anthony on a shorter slate where there's not that many other pivots here. Like you're saving $900 from Brogdon, saving K from Van Vliet. Then Maxi's been awesome. Been carrying the Sixers the last like 2 weeks. 51 fantasy points, 49, 42 last 3 games. He's back-to-back 30-plus scoring nights for Tyrese Maxey. It'll be impressive if he can continue that for a third straight night, playing all these minutes that he's playing, 40-plus minutes a game. He looks fine. I think he'll be a little bit popular today, people looking at the box score. So in that case, I might just, get up to Cole Anthony or go down a little bit here. Russell looks like a decent option at $7,000, but Spencer Dinwiddie's a guy you want to start with. $6,500 with no Bradley Beal. There's just a couple of wizards that you're just going to plug in today, and Dinwiddie is the first guy. Other plays at point guard besides Dinwiddie would be like Cade Cunningham at 56, Marcus Smart at 52, potentially Bledsoe at 49, and that's basically it. You have Hampton at the bottom, but there's better plays. Hampton, and then you also have Aaron Holiday, who might start today. He's a min price, $3,000. Neto will also get some decent run at 32. At shooting guard, Van Vliet and Edwards are the 2 guys above 8K, the only guys that are very expensive. I'll probably pass on them. They're playable if you make a bunch of teams, but in like a single build, I think there's some other guys I'm kind of looking at. Dennis Schroeder is playable, 63. He might be popular today. Hopefully he still has some legs after that 41-minute game where he chucked up 27 shots. Cade Cunningham is fine at 56. Even in a blowout, he got you 31 minutes. They only put up 78 points. Hopefully they can get close to 100 tonight against Toronto. Smart has been up and down all year, but without Brown, there's just upside for him. He played huge minutes out there for defense, can hit some threes, although he's been bad shooting threes this year. Well, not that that's surprising. He's typically always a below average three-point shooter. And then I don't mind going to like Jalen Suggs, 42 for tournaments. The minutes on him are down. They split some time with like Hampton, but he still gives you upside. He still takes 10-plus shots. In terms of tournaments, he's a guy that you could look to, especially with KCP being right there at 42. I personally like KCP more, but there's still a chance like Suggs can outscore KCP if KCP struggles a little bit. But one of these games where Bradley Beal missed, KCP kind of broke the slate and had like 37 points. I think that was back on the end of October where he put up 37.5. He should see more minutes today. Should get some more shots off. He's been struggling the last couple of games with the shot, but he still gives you upside with the steals. Occasionally can get you some rebounds and stuff like that. But at 42, he looks like a good play. And then you can go down here to like $3,000 Aaron Holiday would be a nice value play. Assuming he starts, he started the last time that Bradley Beal missed, but he didn't play very well in that one. Moving on to small forward. Top end is Paul George and Tatum. They're both good plays. I probably like George more than Tatum. Just basically the same price tag. Edwards, 84, makes like a decent pivot option if you wanted to go a lot cheaper. But you got to go with Kyle Kuzma. He's $6,400. He should see huge minutes today. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets close to like 38 to 40 minutes without Bradley Beal, especially if they run the 8-man rotation. The price tag on him is reasonable. He's been really productive with the rebounding, gives you double-double chances almost every night. Now, especially tonight where he should get some extra minutes. He's been about a point per minute fantasy-wise. They give him like 38 minutes. 40 fantasy points at $6,400 will definitely go a long way. Scotty Barnes, almost 7K, not that appealing personally. Markkanen, we'll see if he is back today. I think he's probably questionable. Trent at 53, now that he's still a viable option. He can always have a good game at that price tag. But Siakam is back today, so it'll make it a little bit tougher for him to return value. And then Franz Wagner looks decent from the Magic. He's affordable. He gives you 30, 35, even like a 40-plus point ceiling. Plays 30-plus minutes on any sort of close game. Even in blowouts, he was gotten up to 32. So nice price tag. Definitely looks like a decent option. KCP is right here at 42. If you wanted to go in the 4K range and then the 3K range, basically Kyle Kuzma, Danny Avdija, who looks very good today. We'll get to him. Power forward options, top end, you have Tatum. Looks fine. If you wanted to save $1,200, you can go down to Sabonis here or go to Tobias. I like Sabonis. He's been struggling this year in terms of his fantasy, only averaging 41.4. Last game, tough matchup against Rudy Gobert, only put up 31. In 31 minutes, only put up 25. Fouled out of the game in 31 minutes. But tonight, going up against Drummond in that front court, Sixers without Embiid, think it's a spot where Sabonis can have a very good game, especially if LeVert is out again with the back injury, just one less high-usage player. And Sabonis still gives you big upside. The assists have been down this year, which has been the main reason, but still can get you a bunch of rebounds, especially against Drummond. They should go back and forth on the glass. So, like Sabonis, I like Tobias a little bit, even though he's kind of expensive. And then you have like Wendell Carter at 68. Pretty high price tag to pay up for. But he looks better on FanDuel, where he's only 6K. I'll probably look at like Jaren Jackson or Nick Batum as decent value plays. And then at the bottom, you have Chris Boucher if there's no Khem Birch. But I kind of like Denny Avdija. We can plug him in at the forward spot. He's a guy that's been getting decent minutes almost every game already, like 27. When he's playing well, got 26 to 28 for a stretch here. That's because they don't have Davis Bertans. And now without Bradley Beal, I think he could get you close to 30 minutes tonight. Off the bench, there's a chance, like, if he plays well, they could close with him over, like, Aaron Holiday or Neto, if those guys are struggling. But Avdija at only 31, pretty good price tag. A guy that does give you mid upsides in, like, the 20 fantasy point range. Can maybe get close to 30 fantasy points if he plays really well. So the Wizards are just the best team to target today. They're just too cheap. Basically just too cheap, and a lot of their players give you a lot of upside in this matchup against Orlando, which should be one that's very productive and conducive for high fantasy. Speaking of the Wizards, I'm going to run it back with a couple of Magic players that I do like. Cole Anthony is one. I can plug him in at 77. And then at center, you have talent at the top end if you wanted to pay up for him. You have Drummond and Valanciunas here. I think Drummond looks better if Brandon Ingram returns. But 9K is already, you're not getting any sort of discount on Drummond now. And they only played him 30 minutes last game, which was kind of surprising / annoying. But I'll go with Mo Bamba at 66. You also have Montrezl Harrell right here at 63, who will get you more usage today. He's been awesome in like 25 to 27 minutes off the bench, been really productive. And then you have Zubats all the way at the bottom at 5K. Those will be the main pieces that I'm looking at. But I like Mo Bamba today. He's at a decent price tag. He plays decent minutes in close games. He gets over 30. In blowouts, if he's not playing well, then he'll get you in like the high 20s. Or if he's in foul trouble, he might get you in the low 20s. But he still gives you a big upside in GPPs, even in cash games at this price tag. I don't hate paying up for him. He went down from 73 down to 66 against an undersized Washington front court. Should be able to get a lot of rebounds against like Gafford, and Montrezl Harrell isn't the biggest center out there in terms of height. So I think Bamba can have a lot of success. Gives you upside to block some shots as well. The Washington-Orlando game, don't mind just stacking it up on this 6-gamer and then just kind of plugging in one or two pieces from another game. But that's about it for the DraftKings side. Load up on the Wizards, load up on a couple of these Magic, and then we'll see what other news we get throughout the day. That's it for DraftKings. Let's go over to FanDuel. So on FanDuel here, point guard plays. You have John Morant. Looks a little bit better at 98 compared to over 10K on DraftKings. You have Brogdon, looks appealing at only 84. Van Fleet's also in the mix, but Siakam is back tonight. The Maxi's up to 81, so I probably prefer to get up to like Brogdon or Van Fleet in that situation, although Maxey has been killing it recently. And then you have Cole Anthony at only 75, so that price tag on Anthony looks really good. But you got to start with Spencer Dinwiddie at only 62. He should be one of the first guys you plug in. Garland is nicely priced at 6,000. Cade Cunningham, 58. And then you have Dennis Schroeder if you wanted to go back to him at 57. Also looks very good. And that's about it. I don't know why they have KCP at point guard eligible. I won't be getting to him at point guard. At least it's tough when you have Dinwiddie, and then you have Neto, and then you have Aaron Holiday, who are a lot cheaper. And he's more expensive than he's on DraftKings, so probably won't get the KCP on FanDuel at that price tag. and that position. If he was like small forward, it would be a different story. Shooting guard, you can play Paul George at 10K, or you can go down a little bit. I don't mind going to Cole Anthony today. I think he's going to have a good game against Washington. Going up back and forth against like Spencer Dinwiddie a bit. Should be a close game against the Wizards without Bradley Beal. And Anthony has just so much upside that hopefully it's a night that he hits some shots, and he does get you a lot of rebounds for a guard as well, and get some assists as well. Ricky Rubio 66, and then you have Garland at 6K, so I would just go to Garland over Rubio. Garland will play a few more minutes, similar to like, and Garland can produce at a similar, if not a better rate, if Rubio is struggling to hit some shots like he was yesterday. Basically the same guys. I have Cade Cunningham and Dennis Schroeder, other two guys that look appealing. Small forward, Paul George, Tatum, both look like good plays, but Tobias has to be a really good play on FanDuel at only 77 if he's going to play like 37, 38 minutes again today. LeVert at 72, we'll see if he plays or not. Even if he does play, there's a little bit of risk that he won't play a full amount of minutes. You got to go Kyle Kuzma. We'll play him at power forward at least, or you can plug him in at small forward. Then at the bottom, you have like Franz Wagner at 52. He looks a little bit better on DraftKings. I don't have any interest in like Josh Richardson at that price tag. And that's basically it. At power forward, Kuzma looks really, really good. You have Sabonis at 87. He also looks great. Montrezl Harrell's too expensive at 79. So he looks a lot better on DraftKings. So basically looking at like Kyle Kuzma, Evan Mobley, two of my favorites in the 6K range. All the way up you have Sabonis, who looks great at 87. Tatum for the ultimate spend up. And the Wendell Carter is only 6K. That price tag looks a lot better than it does on DraftKings. But I got to go with Kyle Kuzma. It's tough not to have him in a core play. And then at center, you have Cat at 97. He's fine. You have Drummond at 89. Also be like a second at best option. Sabonis would be in the mix as well. But Mo Bamba 67. I'll probably go with him today. I think he's going to have a good game. That game is the favorite one for me to target. You can go down to Wendell Carter if you wanted to as well. But I could also play Carter at power forward. Mo Bamba's only center eligible. So he's probably the guy I want to get to. Especially with like the elevated price tags on Jared Allen and Montrezl Harrell. And Zubats is 56, who's still playable. But I like Mo Bamba. If I'm not going to break the bank and pay all the way up for like a Cat or a Drummond or a Valanciunas today. So that's about it for the Saturday video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.